Ago.
Okay.
I'm doing an interview for Soul Star Rising, and I'm very excited to hear what you've been telling me about mothers in film. Could you tell me, what is this organization and what does it do?
Well, we're not an organization necessarily. We're more of just a group of moms. We're called The Pile, and we have been supporting each other for years because first it starts off with, how do you balance everything as a mother in general? Or how do I handle postpartum depression? Or, hey, my job is discriminating against me because I need to pump. What can I do? Or, hey, I'm being hired, I have an opportunity at this place. Does anyone work there? And usually all of us are in the industry, whether it's an executive at Netflix or a showrunner for a TV show or an actress or a writer. We're all there together trying to help support and give each other ideas on how to survive in Hollywood as a mother, because no one else is there to help you. And it's been hugely helpful to help me keep going, because I would have given up many times over. Having kids is hard enough, just balancing that in your life, but then as a creative who needs to put time aside to write, as a creative who needs to take time off to travel, or as a creative who's just trying to struggle to make their own films or projects, sometimes you can only get 15 minutes to write in the chaos of children. And that 15 minutes I learned through my group is gold. And so we would set appointments with each other. We're like, let's write sprints. We can do it. We're going to do sprints. We're going to set a timer. We're going to set it for 15 minutes, and you're going to write. No distractions. And then I'd write, and I'd end up getting 2 scenes done. And it was phenomenal. So we've taught each other to get hyper-focused on our creativity, how to be creative as a parent, because you're so deeply attached to your children. And you care so much that you will put them first. As for me, that's a priority. But if I don't put myself first and my creativity as a female, as a Latina, as a mother in Hollywood, then who is going to be that voice? Because that voice needs to be heard. And if not, then it's going to be through the lens of a man, or a lens of someone who's not Latino, or through the lens of someone who's not a mother. And those stories have to be told, and it's just as important, because our stories can teach other mothers and other creatives, or just people who are trying to get funding for their NASA great project, or whatever it might be, a scientist who's a mother, or a teacher who's a mother who has to take care of all these students and then come home to her own children. How do you find the energy and the bandwidth to keep going? And it takes a community. It takes support from other people, and I've had that through my group, my mother group called The Pile, and we have Oscar winners in our group. We have people who have never funded or done their own projects, and that Oscar winner is helping them come up with ideas or introducing them to people. So it's mothers helping mothers to make films and to make projects, or just to thrive in their careers.
I think this is very exciting for a number of reasons. One is that I've been on about this for many, many years, about there's a phrase that a male artist, or was he, I don't know, he's famous, and he said, every time I come into a woman's house and I see a pram in the hallway, I cry because an artist has died. And when I heard that, I thought that really sums up how it is for many, many women.
Yes.
That it shouldn't have to be like that.
No.
And I think there are problems with the way that the business is structured and the way that films are made. Partly it's financial, that you've got to be sort of going non-stop for incredibly long hours, and doing things that it's actually completely impossible to do as a mother unless you have a nanny looking after your kid all the time. So I think it's not just that industry, but I'm very excited. And the other reason I'm excited is because it sounds like you're doing grassroots.
Yes.
And actually grassroots is incredibly powerful.
Yes.
And I'm seeing this spreading all over the world, and women everywhere taking on your model and then connecting all over the world. How are you getting the word out about what you're doing? I mean, I'm going to help you with this, obviously, but I'm sure, how are you just doing it organically? Are you publicizing?
We are doing it right now organically, but we hope to sell. Right now I'm here at RAINDANCE with a feature film that I wrote and produced and started. It took 8 years to get here, but we are here, meaning to finish our film, ready for a premiere. And we just had a conversation with a sales rep inside for one of the great networking events that RAINDANCE put on, and he's like, send me the link, I'd like to see your film and see how I can help. So it's just meeting and talking and networking with people. I saw an amazing movie that Eva Longoria, who is a famous actress and from the US, and she did, called Flaming Hot, and it's on Hulu and Disney. And you know, the theme of the movie was about how you have to bring it to market yourself, especially when you're doing a movie about something that's underrepresented, like women or Latinos, and you think that somebody, now that you've had this amazing idea that the cavalry is coming, and they're not. You have to like bring your idea yourself. And right now we're step by step learning what's the best way to get things to market. I'd love to have the money for a publicist, but we don't. Maybe when we sell it, a distributor will provide that funding, but on top of that, we also need to take it on ourselves, or it'll get lost in the thousands of movies that are streaming. And so we'll be using social media, TikTok. I'm holding for sound. There's a lot of cars. We're on a famous street in London near Piccadilly, so it's amazing to do an interview like this here. But Sisters_film is on Instagram, and then Marta M. Cross is my handle on Instagram, and through there I'll be doing a lot of updates to let you know how to watch the film and what we're doing with all the projects that I hope to be doing.
So I heard something very good about your film. Your film is called Sisters.
Yes,
yeah?
Sisters.
I couldn't get to see it because it was sold out.
It was sold out.
But
I'm sorry.
What I did hear was people saying, it was a man saying, I haven't cried in the movies for years, and I'm not the kind of person to cry in movies, and your film made me cry. So I heard that, which is very good. I agree about the distribution, that it's hard enough to distribute any film, but I think there needs to be a whole change in the industry to do with genre,
yes.
And nobody's going to do it except the people themselves.
Yes.
Because I think
yes.
there are stories that women tell that
yes.
women and other people like to see
yes.
that just don't really get told because they don't fit in the chick flick
yes.
or other. And I think it's all that you can do really is make them and then find a way of distributing
yes.
and let them find their audience. So
Amen.
I think what you're doing is exciting on many levels.
Yes.
So I wish you all the best. Could you just say briefly what your film is about?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's a spiritual pilgrimage. 3 sisters who are Mexican American who have had a lot of tension in their relationship. They've drifted apart, and the oldest sister is me. I tricked them into going on our grandmother's pilgrimage through Mexico, the story that our grandmother told us since we were little girls, and to try to bring them together and heal our relationship. But it's also a comedy. There's a lot of comedic moments because we are Mexican Americans who have never gone to their country of origin, and so I think a lot of people can relate with that. And so it's getting used to things that you knew as a child growing up but you never got to witness, and experiencing Mexico as a character where it's beautiful and gorgeous and the people are so hospitable and the food is delicious. And at the end of our screening last night, one of the audience goers stood up and said, "This movie made me wanted to visit Mexico." And that was important to us because the press that we get in the U.S. about Mexico, everyone thinks it's dangerous, that don't go, but there is so much beauty and there's so much heart and so much warmth, and it's a place that people need to witness. And so we hope that they will receive this film and want to go to Mexico, or want to at least see the Latino culture in a different light.
I think you're right. I have heard that in America everyone's frightened of going to Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good in a way for the tourist spots don't get overrun, but
yeah.
nonetheless.
Yes, yes.
I really wish you all the best with your film.
Thank you.
And I look forward to hearing more about your network. So yours is called The Pile, but there's nothing. Is there a word? Is there a name for the whole thing? Mothers
No.
supporting mothers, or just
Pile is called. It stands for a pile of babies. We all have a pile of babies, and we just shortened it to The Pile. And we have, we just really, it's a Facebook group that turned, and then we meet in real life. A lot of us are in the same city, so we've become friends. And then there's 900 women from London to every state in the U.S., but a lot of us are in Los Angeles, and we meet in a retreat once a year in the mountains, and we all get together in real life. And if something is happening crazy in the world, we just scream into the woods for an hour, or we puzzle, or we dance freely without our kids, or whatever it might be, but it's just a chance to be together. And it's a wonderful group of women, and just keep an eye out, because we have pilot productions that eventually will end up making a film, I'm sure.
Well, I hope you make a film also about yourselves in some way, because it sounds like a great enterprise. So I'm going to finish there. Wish you all the best.
Thank
you for being willing to be on the street like this. But in London is exciting.
It is exciting,
especially if you're from America. It's
oh my
so
God,
wonderful.
This is wonderful.
Again, could you say your name for the camera?
Hi, my name is Marta Mendez Cross.
That's fantastic.